Ladies and gents, hello and welcome. My name, of course, is Orbital Potato, and here we check out the latest and the greatest strategy games each and every day of the week. Today we're turning a sleepy town newspaper into a global publishing giant in News Tower. This is one of my favorite upcoming anticipated strategy tycoon games. It's coming out very soon indeed, and developers were kind enough to send over a preview copy of the game, which is going to be coming out in early access on the 13th of February. I absolutely love this game. It is so unbelievably fun to play, and I cannot wait to transform nothing into something. Let's get cracking, shall we? Right, first order of the day is to get our paper appropriately named. I'm thinking the Potato Times. It feels informal, yet informative, and that's kind of the vibe that we're going to be going for. Let's immediately get into the Tycoon goodness, and let's see if we can try and turn this empty shell of a building into something resembling a newspaper publishing headquarters. Cool. Okay, what do we need to do? Well, we need to get building, and we need to get building pretty darned fast. So let's go into the building tab and immediately see if we can try and flesh this place out a little bit. I am going to immediately grab 1 extra floor and 2 extra floor. We got our cash up here. We got plenty of cash. We don't really need to worry about money, at least not yet. Maybe in a little bit. We're gonna get some stairs between the 2 different floors. Boom, we'll get some stairs over there, and we'll also get some stairs up here. Very, very important. We need to be able to access all floors at all times, and it's actually gonna allow us to get people up and down the stairs, obviously, but it's also is going to allow us to see noise projections. I'll chat a little bit about noise in a little bit. Anyway, what are the basics of running a reporting office? Believe it or not, it's actually reporters. They do all of the heavy lifting. We're going to get 2 reporter desks in the first instance. We'll get more as we go, but 2 reporters, 1 reporter per desk, I think is pretty reasonable. Let's move on. What do we got? Editing accessories. We can worry about this a little bit later. It's not super important. This is very, very important, this little tab here. We've got a telegraphing station, a typesetting desk, and an assembly table. We are going to be getting all of these. The telegraphing station is the primary way that we're going to be hearing about stories from around the globe, and it actually produces a pretty significant amount of noise, so we're going to try and put these guys towards the edge of the office. There is a little overlay that we are going to be able to see. Yep, there we go. Comfort view. We're able to see at a glance how much noise this actually produces. Turns out that employees don't like working in a noisy environment, so we need to try and minimize that as much as we possibly can. Let's see if we can... Oh yeah, see, we can use an acoustic panel if we want to reduce the noise. We're going to be doing that, but let's worry about that in just a little bit. Let's get a typesetting desk and an assembly table. We'll put these next to each other as close as they really can. They don't actually produce any noise. We'll talk about how they work in just a little bit. Production accessories, again, not going to worry about that. Utility, very, very important, but not going to worry about it. Comfort, also super important, but not going to worry about it. Storage cabinet, very important. Employee needs, don't care. Power and light, generator, small lamp. Yes, we will worry about that, but we'll worry about that after we get this monster finished. This is the most important bit of infrastructure in any newspaper printing operation. This is how we actually print the darned paper. So, what we do is we place an input, the printer input module. We're going to place this. It is unbelievably massive and unbelievably noisy. And you can actually see the closer it gets to the door, the more noise that we actually will see on subsequent floors. So it's really, really important that we have this entire printing operation set up on its own floor, completely away from everything else. Very, very important. We're also going to have to do a substantial amount of sound dampening on the other floor, on the other floors, in order to ensure that we don't have too much sound bleeding through. Anyway, we get an output module. The output module, as you would imagine, goes at the other end of the room. Happy days. And then we insert a, what is this called? A printer page module. This is all very, very outrageously expensive, by the way. But basically, every additional module that we get here, this will cost us, or it will cost us a lot of money. It costs us $1,000, but it will allow us to add another page to our newspaper. With 1 printer page module, we're allowed to have, you guessed it, one singular page newspaper. We'll talk about how that works in just a second, but let's also get a belt. A belt goes between the input and the output, and it's going to allow us to make a paper. Okay, that's all of the basic infrastructure that we actually need in order to run things. Why don't I hire some new members of staff, and then we can look at improving the working conditions for the people that are going to be working in this office. Let's go into this tab over here. There are a bunch of different tabs. We've got reporter, production, and utility. There are some different specializations. The specializations are important because it allows reporters to report on different stories. Let's see if we can try and get a decent selection. I'm thinking... Actually, tell you what, before we hire a reporter, why don't we look at the globe? What have we got here? We've got unemployment rate rises. This is a society story. So why don't we be a little bit proactive and hire a... Look at that. Bertha Griffin, congratulations. You're a society reporter. You can come to work at this desk. And as soon as I unpause, you're going to start moving, which is grand. Let's not actually hire a second person there. We can worry about that in a little bit. Let's get ourselves some production people now. You're assembling. You're an assembler. That's fine. I mean, we don't really have anybody that's good at typography here. That's fine. Oh, no, tell a lie. We do have somebody that's good at typography or typesetting. That's fine. And then we also need somebody who's a good telegrapher, whatever the case, you're all assigned. Brilliant. Then we've got utility, and we do not have any of these facilities available at the moment, so let's not worry about that too much. Power-wise, we've got a little power meter up here. We have got used power at 14. Available power is at 50. We can buy ourselves an additional generator if we want to, but I don't particularly want to do that quite yet. Okay, with that all in mind, let us unpause and let us see what the heck happens. So we're going to see the Nancy, the telegraph operator, is going to do a little bit more story research, and when this completes, we should be able to progress our story a little bit. Let's go into this specific story that we already have in existence, and I'm actually going to drag Bertha into it, and that means that she is going to immediately start researching this story and hopefully finding the scoop that we're all after, which is pretty darn great. It's going to take 18 hours, and we can move things on at that point. Okay, good. Let's chat about that. Let's chat about that comfort, because this is looking absolutely abysmal, and we can absolutely improve this. If I click the little noise tab, we can actually see and do a lot about this situation. Hold on. I'm looking for a wall with door. If I slam a wall with a door in here, that is actually going to make a pretty significant difference. It's going to cost me a little bit of money, but it's going to drastically reduce the amount of noise. In fact, yeah, literally wall with door. That is going to pretty much bring down all of the noise. This area can still have a high level of noise. That's fine. We can deal with that. But as long as the rest of the place doesn't, which is fine. Oh, I need to light the place too. Toilet, water cooler. We'll get all of that. Maybe we'll get that all at the bottom level here. It seems a shame to be using prime real estate on the bottom floor for that sort of stuff, but I mean, why not? I guess, right? What am I looking for? I'm looking for the noise thingy, the acoustic panel. Yes, very, very important. And in fact, there's a couple of different modifiers that will help. For example, the clock does counter noise. It actually turns it into a little bit of a pleasurable place to work, which is kind of what we're going for. I want to create a nice working environment. Red apple painting? Sure, let's do that. I mean, I am spending an absolutely atrocious amount of money. Counter smell, counter heat, acoustic panel. Let's get one of those down. And maybe something else. Something else that counters noise. Small plant. That counters noise too. Let's put that on your desk. What the heck? Sure. That's looking pretty darn good, all things considered. There's no discomfort down here. There's a little bit of noise, I think, leaking out of the staircase. All things considered, I don't think that is too bad at all. Very, very happy with that indeed. We're still waiting for the secondary story to be discovered, but as soon as that is up and running, we will immediately be able to dispatch another reporter. Also, I have completely neglected to get people lights. Let's get lights. Let's get lights absolutely everywhere. We only have small lamps. I'm very sorry. We have no other... We have no other... we have no other way of lighting the place at the moment. But that will change. That will change. Our power is already used up. But that's fine. Right, what do we got here? You got 6 hours left on that story. We got another story here. And there's 2 different angles that we can take on the story. This could either be a society story or it can be a politics story. Interesting indeed. Well, I think we're probably going to use this opportunity to hire our next reporter. And ideally, we want to see if we can nab a politics reporter, because that's going to broaden the members of staff that we actually have. So congratulations. Welcome on board. Didn't even catch your name. Elizabeth Jackson. You can immediately go and start researching that politics story. Fantastic. That is the second story that we're working on. We got a little track record down the side of the screen over here, which is pretty darn great. What's the issue with you? What's the issue with you? Condition? You are not happy. You should be happy, though. We do need to bear in mind that we don't have toilets. We don't have toilets or anything like toilets, which is fine. Right, anyway, we've progressed to the next stage of the story. What do we got here? We need to do... Ooh, there's another bit of research required in order to progress the story. We need a crime reporter, or we need somebody who can deal with tragedy. You are currently out. Bertha, you're currently out. Where are you? You should be back. You should be back soon. I do indeed believe that you're going to walk back to the office, and then you can probably head out again, because you've got the crime credentials, so to speak, which is absolutely fine. Anyway, we're working towards a Sunday publishing deadline. It's not happened yet, but we're getting there. Oh, look at that. Bertha Griffin, you've just handed in your story. Congratulations. That's looking good. You're heading back downstairs, and we should actually be able to dispatch you... We should actually be able to dispatch you to that story now. There we go. You're free. You're available. You're going to take 23 hours. That is fantastic. Let's jump into multiple times speed, and let's get to work. Let's get to work. We love it. We love it. We love it. Zippity-doo-dah. We're making progress. This is great news. There is a lot of junk on the floor, though, here. There was a lot of junk. You can actually see, though, the progress that we're making in that initial reporting. We are typesetting. We're typesetting that. We've got another 14 hours left to progress that, which I'm happy to do. It's just going to take a little bit of time, and you're going to hand in the next story, and the typesetter is immediately going to be busy. After the typesetter has finished the typesetting, it's going to be passed to... It's going to be passed to the assembler, and we're going to progress to assembling the story. That's going to take 9 hours or so, which is pretty darn good, if I do indeed say so myself. Oh, look at that. Elizabeth Jackson is available to do the Boston Bruins wins. Okay, that's fine with me. I'm happy to deal with that. Is there anything else that we want to build, by the way? I mean, I don't think there is. I think we're pretty reasonably happy with everything, although I would like to... probably get ahead of the curve and maybe see if we could try and do some utility fixes. There we go. Let's get a wall with a door over here too. Again, we'll try and keep everything jammed in there. Yeah, we've got lots of paper trash here. Let's see if we can try and fix that up. So, we'll get a water cooler. We'll get a toilet. The toilet is going to smell a little bit. We'll put that all the way at the end over there. Anything else that we need to get? Yes, there's a lot of stuff that I need to get. We also need to get some smell countering. We're going to get a storage cabinet for reasons that will become clear in just a second. The clock counters the smell, apparently. Okay, we'll get that. What about an air vent? Air vent is going to counter the smell. What about a sink? That's going to counter the smell as well? Sure. And... what about a trash can over here? A trash can over here to counter the waste. That's going to be pretty good. And a small plant... just to make everything a little bit more pleasant over there. That's pretty good. Okay, utility. We need to get a few utility things. We need to get a resupply desk. We need to get a sweeping station. A washing station, which, confusingly, doesn't actually have to be in proximity to the bathroom. That's fine, and we'll also get ourselves a workbench. That might be a little bit loud, but that's fine. The point is, we're going to need to hire members of staff in order to work on all of this stuff. Utility, for example. I mean, you are qualified to do that job. You are qualified to do that job. You're qualified to do that. And you're qualified to do that. Fantastic news. Okay, we got lots of additional members of staff. Is it going to be enough? I hope so. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, getting more focus, concentration is going up. We love to see it. This is good. This is very, very good. We got a lot of stuff happening here. That makes me happy. There's a lot of paper trash to be swept up here. However, I do indeed believe we should have somebody that is on the job. And we should be seeing somebody arrive any moment now and start cleaning up some of the paper trash that we've got here to hopefully make this area a little bit more of a pleasurable place to work. Again, we could still probably improve the sound levels a little bit, but I don't particularly care. Right, let's get to publishing. Let's get to publishing. I want to see if we can try and publish more. We're working on a new story at the moment. We've got 4 items left to research. That's fine. We'll leave that. We'll leave that there for now. Capital Fire. That is ready. That is ready to go in the newspaper. We're not going to do anything with it at the moment, but we absolutely can if we want to. Bertha, we got another story for you. Potato Times new publisher. Sure, let's do it. Let's report on ourselves. I love the idea of that. Let's do it. And let's go back into fast forward mode as the office hopefully gets into a slightly better place. New story? Anything else? Another society story by the looks of things. Ooh, deadliest aviation accident in US. Okay, what do we got? Choose mode of travel. Choose how to travel. Ooh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. We can actually choose how to, choose how to get there. I mean, presumably, we're going to get the story quicker if we take the train. If we take the plane. I'm gonna take the train. First of all, because it's cheapest. Also, we're approaching that Sunday deadline, and when we start to publish, we're not gonna be able to publish for another week. So that's just something that we need to bear in mind. Let's pause and let's see what we want you to do. Go and do this story. You're slightly better at reporting on society stories, so we'll do that. I will also add, there is a modifier, or there is a way that we can modify our reporter's capability. For example, we can buff society and also buff the telegrapher if we put a globe on their desks. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. You're a society buff, and you're going to get a society buff as well. Now, we don't have that much capability at the moment, but that's okay. Right, how are our stories coming along? Let's take a little look. Potato Times, new publisher. We got 3 hours left on that, so that's fine. Deadliest aviation accident in US. We're probably not going to finish that story before the end. So let's wait until Potato Times' new publisher story is finished, and then let's look at putting together a newspaper that is worthy of being published. In order to do that, we jump into this little interface over here. Now, remember what I said at the start. We only have the ability to print one singular page of news, at least this week. That might change as we go, but for now, this is what we've got to work with. And we've got 4 stories here. And there's a couple of things to bear in mind. First things first, any story above the fold gets double the value. So, for example, unemployment rises. This is probably our most technologically competent story. You can see that we've got 3 bronze tags. The Capital Fire has got 1 bronze tag. The Boston Bruins wins has got one bronze tag. All of this is going to help build towards like a really decent story. We also can combo the tags together, which is quite nice. I mean, do I particularly care about? I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. That's gonna end up losing us. Yeah, it's gonna end up losing us a tag. I mean, this is the best sort of combination that I think that we can muster. And honestly, it's not gonna net us a whole huge amount of cash, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Current paper, required paper, it's going to cost us 90 paper. We're going to need to order in some more paper. That's fine. It also means that one of our stories is going to go to waste, which I'm not exactly over the moon about, but we can maybe worry about that in a little bit. All is looking good. Power is okay. Printer's not broken. The printer is complete. Let's start the printing. Boom. Let's immediately go. You love to see it. Beautiful. Beautiful. 9,000 newspapers sold. This is making me sad. A newspaper for the people. That's quite the polar opposite reviews. But I don't really care what the reviews are as long as I'm making money. Heck yeah. Look at that. Look at that. That is a pretty decent chunk of cheddar. Nothing that we can be too upset about. Wages, etc. That's fine. Honestly, that is completely fine. Okay, at the end of the week, we get to make some decisions about what we can do. This is where our offices are located. We can expand our operations into any specific area. We can go to Wall Street. Ooh, I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. Bayonne, we do actually have a society. We do actually have a society story. But the point is that we need to be able to fulfill these stories in order to expand into the district. So we're going to set this area as our objective for the week. And then we're going to confirm, and we are going to have this as the objective for publishing the story next week. So ideally, we want to be publishing a society story and also an entertainment story. We're working on it. Now, of course, this is old news. We've let the story mature a little bit too much, which is a little bit unfortunate. It's not necessarily the end of the world, but it's a little bit unfortunate. It disappears after 1 week, and also I think it's worth less, which is a little bit of a shame. Right, what do we got here? Why are we got some new people. We got some new people if we want to recruit them. I don't particularly care to do that. That is okay. I'm thinking that we maybe want to be getting an additional telegrapher. That's probably pretty important to do. We're still working on one story there. That's fine for now. Deadliest aviation in U.S. history. That's fine. That's done. Great. And we got a brand new story. What do we got? It's a crime story. Well. That's fine. Ooh, look at this. Investigative, likely discovered in news with crime and society. And also we get influence points. I like the idea of influence points. I like influence. This is good. I think we need to get another. Telegrapher. Is that how you say it? Let's do it. Let's do it. Telegraphing station. I'm going to nab another one. I am obviously going to get myself an additional thingy. Acoustic thing. That's what we need. There we go. Definitely an additional acoustic thing. Larry Miller, you're the most qualified person for the job. And also, we're going to be able to get ourselves a globe. That's going to make a slight difference. And hopefully, that's going to give us the ability to research stories twice as quickly. Maybe even it's going to spur us on to hire an additional reporter. I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to get more stories than ever before. What did we need? We need an entertainment story. Yeah, we're desperate for an entertainment story. So what we can do, after you've finished researching this block... There we go. Brilliant. We can actually jump in here and we can say, hey, let's prioritize researching an entertainment story. Very, very good. You're qualified for entertainment. You're also qualified for sports. Let's give you a day at the racetrack. I mean, it's not going to be less than a day. It's not going to be less than a day anyway by the time that we find ourselves a new story. We are desperate for an entertainment story. We've already got that society story locked and loaded. But that's fine. Ooh, look at this. Bad Hair Day, we've got a new action that is possible. Yeah, what do we want you to do? Oh yeah, we're gonna get you to investigate, but your hands are full at the moment. You're coming back to the office with your findings for the current story. We'll let you get back before we look at doing anything further. I also need to order paper. I'm gonna order 200 paper for $200. Let's do it. I can order coal. I don't need to order coal at the moment, though. Do I need to order food? Do I care about ordering food? I don't think I do. I don't think I do. I don't think I can even build a canteen. At least, not at the moment. Yeah, I've got a water cooler, but that's about it. That is about it. Okay, can we send our investigative reporter out? Sure, let's do it. Okay, 1 day, 11 hours. That's completely fine. Anything on the next story? We got another story. I think can we only have 2 leads at a time? That may very well be the case. Either way, that's going to clean itself up in just a second. We've got 4 items left to research. We got plenty of time. There we go. Researching and research ready. Yeah, so that's what we need to do. We need to clear up this current lead before we're able to get another lead. Either that, or we get ourselves another telegrapher. But hopefully it's an entertainment story. We've still got 3 or 4 days to clear that up. That's fine. You're loading the new paper into the machine. That is great. We got a little bit of smell coming through here. A little bit less than ideal. Another air vent. A second air vent never hurt anyone. Tiles? Let's do it. $600 for tiles. That was a little bit extreme there, but that's fine. Ooh, we finally managed to nab that entertainment story that I was after. Let's do it. Let's get you right into the mix there. Very, very important. We don't really have any other issues. I will say we could probably get a clock in the hallway here, a clock in the hallway here, and that will, believe it or not, that will improve the temperature and improve the noise in this little room. I don't know how that works, but it just does. Either way, that's looking good. Okay, new story. It's another entertainment story. We do not have the capability, or we don't need the capability, I should say, to do an entertainment story. We'll get you dispatched, and then we will get this other entertainment story after the next person is back. Are you already back? You're already back. You've already handed something in. 23 hours. Wow, we got a lot of stories on the go here. This is pretty crazy. We're doing a lot of typesetting. We have got a... Okay, the typesetter is very far behind. Very far behind. Also, we've got a dangerously low supply of food. Let's sort that out. Let's order some more food. Okay. Now, we got a couple of things to consider. We're in the middle of Saturday, which is fine. The problem is, I don't actually have an entertainment story that is in a decent enough position to go to print. We've got that society story. Bad Hair Day is going to be done in 8 hours on the assembler, which is fine. Plagiarism, that's got another 23 hours on the typesetter, and then it's going to have a few hours on the assembler regardless. Is that enough? I'll take my reward for this. Okay. Solar system poster. Oh, look at that. That gives us a modifier. Very, very cool. Okay. We are maybe dealing with some capacity issues, specifically in the, I guess, newspaper production department. As long as I'm able to squeeze out an entertainment story, I will be happy. We've got 17 hours left on the story here. I think we can make it. I think we can make that story. We don't need to print, or we don't need to go to print until the very end of the day. Sunday morning, time to roll the presses. I know. But thankfully, we don't have to worry about that too much. We've got that society story in the bag. It may be old news. It may suck, but that's fine. We've got a brand new story to start researching. I don't think I actually want to start this. I think we'll start that one tomorrow. If I start that one tomorrow, then we should have the ability to make it a fresh news story. At least that's the mindset that I'm gonna go in with. A little bit of paper to be swept up here. That's fine. No big deal. We can deal with that. The society story, we've got 8 hours before we complete that. I mean, we might be able to make it. Alternatively, we might not be able to make it. I don't think we're gonna be able to make it. We're gonna have to roll the presses without this story. I'm just not confident. I'm really just not confident. Okay, let's compose a story that maybe a situation that doesn't suck. Okay, this gets us 4 influence points. It's also investigative. It is a really darn good story to lead with. It's gonna give us a really decent amount of amount of cash straight off the bat. Remember, we need that society story. And also remember that we need to get that entertainment story as well. Is there a better combination for us? Potentially. Potentially. I mean, there are 2 additional stories here. What is compelling is that I really like the idea of expanding my... I really like the idea of expanding my operation right now. Because what I can do is I can jump into printing and I can get myself an additional printer page module. I can do that over here. Let's do it. And then let's go back to printing. And suddenly we've got ourselves a second page. So we're going to take our income all the way up to, I hope, a pretty decent chunk of change. What is that income increase? 1750 up from... It's about an extra 400, 350 bucks. That's fine. I mean, to be fair, like, there are a few bits of old news in here which we don't exactly love. It's going to sell us a few fewer papers. And it would be nicer if we were getting some decent combos. But honestly, I think it's fine. I think it's absolutely fine. Whoa, current paper is only 60? Why the heck do we not have more paper? Maybe my stories are not quite as... that's really, really annoying. So we're going to have to pay an emergency fee for our stories, for our thingy to be printed. You know what? Fine. We'll just deal with it. Just deal with the emergency fee. Just get this flipping paper out. I'm going to order more paper for next week anyway. The point is, though, we're going to achieve our objective of, well, first of all, we're going to get a record sales number, which is pretty darn fantastic. They did their research like never before. Investigative journalism. That's right. Okay. We didn't make back the whole second printer module yet, but that's okay. It's given us an opportunity. We've completed that quest, which is pretty darn great. We've got some bonus influence points, which is really, really nice. And also, very, very interesting, we should hopefully have a few more customers next time. Elizabeth Davis is becoming a better typesetter. Good. Very, very good indeed. And in fact, we need you to be a better typesetter. We really, really do. And we've unlocked some more opportunities. This is great. This is fantastic news. What have I got? Entertainment story and a gossip story. Society story and a tragic story. Sports and a crime story. Let's go to Williamsburg. Sure, let's do it. Breaking news telegram. Okay, thank you very much. And let's move on, I guess. Sure. Okay, let's see what the stories are. This is the breaking news telegram, if I'm not mistaken. What do we got? Defeat and politics. Well, let's immediately throw you into there. And then we've got another politics story. Alternatively, we've got a... What is that? An economy story? And we need crime. We need crime and sports. So this is neither of those things. I'll throw you into there at the present moment. Although we should be looking to try and get ourselves some new stories. This is a big story. Society, unrest, and then crime. Why don't we do a society story and then into a crime story? That would be pretty decent. In fact, that would be really, really decent. We should also take a little look at where we are in this whole mainframe here. We've got... Oh, yeah, I need to order paper. Let's order paper. I'm going to order 2 loads of paper. We're going to take as much flipping paper as we possibly can get. Yeah, drop off a whole bunch of paper, please. I also have a brand new accessory. Yeah, buff society. We can actually buff our society capability. I put this over there. That's cool. Cost me 50 bucks. We get a society buff. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, everybody's getting on just fine. We've got a refreshed employee list. That's okay. Influence points. Yeah, we do have influence points. This is very, very nice. I like this. I like this a lot. I like this a lot. We don't have any ads yet. We've gone through printing. The area map. Oh, yeah, we are still working towards this. This is good. I really want to get to the Mafia. I want to get to the Mafia boss. There's a whole bunch of different sort of places on this map. Throg's Neck Factory. For example, we can unlock an elevator if we're able to get over here. That's pretty darn cool. A French factory clock. There's so many unlocks if only we can get to them on the map. And I fully intend to do that. Right, can we manage to get a society story? The reporter is carrying the item production to its destination. There you are. You've got the story. Beautiful. Let's immediately send you out. I'd love to dispatch a properly brilliant society reporter. And then we'll probably manage a crime story. Let's see if we can try and prioritize a sports story. A sports story would be pretty... Oh my goodness, I would say pretty fortuitous. That is amazing. Okay, well, we don't need to worry about a sports story anymore. Just research whatever the heck you want to, guys. That's brilliant. Also, I should say, we've got 500 subscribers now. We get 500 subscribers by completing the objective from Bayonne, which is quite nice. We got loads and loads of subscribers, which basically means we have guaranteed income. That's right. It's Tycoon. It's Tycoon time, baby. And we like that a lot. Okay, we've got an action here. This is... Yeah, we've got a couple of different options about what we want to... Which way we want to take it. Probably better for us to do this... this specific... If we're able to do this specific research or this specific story, it would be better for us. The problem is, I need the crime story. So we're going to be dispatching the person to the crime department. To the crime department, to the crime story. And I'm fine with that, you know, that's okay. You know, sometimes we just need to trade off stories. We're not actually to the point yet where we've had to cancel a story. We can absolutely, like, binge stories that just kind of suck. I mean, if we end up, you know, chugging through a huge number of stories over the next couple of days, we can ditch these crummy little society entertainment stories. It doesn't matter for our objective, and if they're not going to help sell papers, why the heck should we publish them? It doesn't really matter to me. Right. Let's get you over here. Excellent. Brilliant. Ooh, and there's a key information that's going to unlock this padlock over here. And that's going to mean that we're going to unlock a sports story. Plans miniature golf for empty theaters. Fox Manager tests project. First course opens today. Wow. What a thrilling story. I will say, it looks like, for the most part, our typesetters and our assemblers are managing to keep up with the amount of stuff that we're throwing at them, which is great. We're only on Thursday at the moment. We've got a few additional stories. The reporter is ready to leave. What do we got here? Key information and Elizabeth Jackson. Brilliant. Let's immediately throw you into that sports story. We got another story, Triumphant. You know what? I'd kind of like to hire another reporter. Another reporter who's capable of doing sports. Maybe wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. Third reporter, somebody that's good at sports. You're good at sports and society. I'll take you. I don't think that do we have somebody that can do politics? I think we do already, but it doesn't particularly matter. Whatever the case, I'd love to be able to get this story. I'd love to be able to get this story. It's maybe going to be putting a little bit of strain on our typesetters, but I think we can manage. I'm really, really, really hoping that we can get 2 full pages of newspaper. I should have the appropriate amount of paper. I hope I've got the appropriate amount of paper anyway. We can, yeah, have a little look here. 300 paper. That's a lot of paper. That's a lot of paper. What do we got? We got an entertainment story that is 1.5 days away from being finished. Thank goodness we don't need to worry about that. Yeah. Okay, well, that's a bit of a bummer, but that's fine. Okay, maybe not as much reporting as I would have liked, but all things considered, not the end of the world. 18 hours until you're finished. And I can't see you. How much you got? 1.5 days? Yeah, I mean, we're not going to finish. We're not going to finish any of these. Let's just make do with what we've got. Okay, another 1.5 million unemployed. Alternatively, do we want to lead with... Do we want to lead with that? That's going to... I think it's probably going to be the same. Yeah, it's going to be the same across the two. We unfortunately cannot publish stories that aren't complete. Ooh! Last chance must print now. Yeah, I know. I'm working on it. Don't worry. Economy, society, sports. Can we can combo a society here? Let's do that. It is old news, but that's okay. That's economy. Hold on. We can... Yeah, there's no other economy posts. Well, the good news is we'll get ourselves a full paper, which is pretty darn good. We've got 350 current paper, only 110 required. Let's do it. Let's go to the presses. Let's immediately get this done. Beautiful. 11,000 newspapers sold. It's another record. Not to mention the fact that we have, hopefully, managed to achieve our objectives on the map, which is very, very important indeed. Brilliant. 7,158. Beautiful. Bing, bing, bing. We've done it. More influence points. That is fantastic. More subscribers as well, which means that we've got more guaranteed people buying our papers, which you kind of love to see. Very, very good indeed. Ooh, look at this. Elizabeth Davis, congratulations. You're becoming a... Wow. A properly amazing typesetter. Fantastic. Okay. Couple of different things happening here. Long Island City. This is, oh my goodness gracious me. We're going to have to start dealing with statistics if we want to make some progress. What do we got here? Breaking news telegram. Dry states already. Farmers in Midwest already complaining about water shortage. Okay, that's fine. We've also got a mafia hideout. I knew your uncle very well, and I'm saddened by his sudden disappearance. I hope nothing has happened to my business associate. Print no politics this week, and if we do that, we're able to get 4 influence points and 500 money. I mean, honestly, I could probably deal with that. What are we doing? Proceed without all goals? Yeah, I've selected all the goals. Oh, we need to pick a destination. Where would we like to pick? Alarming news and crime news? We've got a politic... Oh, no, that's sports. Hold on. Adventurous, likely to be discovered with crime in society. Sure. Let's see if we can try and find some adventurous news. And we also need to make sure that we don't print any politics this week. Now, upsetting the mafia doesn't really sound like a super fantastically good idea in the grand scheme of things. So let's see if we can try and... I don't think we can actually deprioritize politics. I think we just have to leave politics as is. Have to leave it like that. We've got tragic and society. You're reporting on a story for now, and then you've got a hopeful story as well coming up. Remember, we need to find an adventurous. So why don't we prioritize society? Let's prioritize society stories because we're likely to discover an adventurous story if we discover a society story. So let's do that, and let's get the stories out of the way. This is fine. You can exist. Triumphant. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, we got a little bit of typesetting to do, but nothing too crazy on that front. It would be nice to be able to dispatch our one singular reporter to our remaining reporter, Elizabeth Jackson. What do you have capability-wise? Are you decent at any stories? Elizabeth Jackson. I don't even know how to... Oh, yeah, there you go. Entertainment, politics, and sports. So, yeah, you're not really good at anything that I need you to do for this. That's fine, though. There's 8 potential stories this week. That's a lot of stories. Okay. You turned in your next story yet? Your hands are still full. Goodness gracious me. Finish that up, please. We're already in Tuesday. Right. Let's get this sorted and researched. Brilliant. What do we got here? A politics story? Eesh. However, we can get to a society story. We can get to a society story if we get through that politics story. Let's do it. We don't actually have to publish this. We can just bin it immediately, which I am quite happy to do. We've also unlocked something brand new. Boxing gloves. That gives us the ability to research better sports stories, which is kind of nice. Don't mind if I do. I will immediately build that, please. Fantastic. Excellent. Okay. No further stories to research? Don't think so. Wow. Continent is locked. We've got other continents to go to. Very, very exciting indeed. Right. Still searching for that adventurous... Still searching for that adventurous story, remember? It's a hopeful story. I mean, fine. We'll throw a hopeful story in there. A hopeful story is not bad, but it's just not the sort of story that we're looking for at the moment. And then this is the one that we're trashing, right? Yeah, this is the one that we're trashing. Even though it's going to give us 2 influence points, we're still going to trash this story. Yeah. Vote, fraud, inquiry, politics, new actions possible. Yeah. I don't care. I could actually have recycled the lead. Oh, that's exactly what we're looking for. The adventurous story. Pause for 2 seconds. There is a way that we can do something about this. Yeah, if I can either trash the story here, right? Cancel item. Brilliant. I can delete that, and that will remove it from the... Oh, no, maybe it actually still counts as a completely independent story. We'll try that. We'll try that in a little sec. But for now, the good news is that we've managed to find that adventurous story that we were after, which is great, 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 great news. Okay. We have no further stories to report on, and the ones that we do, we've got 4 hours of reporting remaining. That's great. Let's just hope that we are able to stuff as many stories into this paper as we possibly can. Throw that in there. You got 20 hours left. We're on the Thursday evening already. That is great. We got another society story that we can do. Oh, we're gonna get a police fine, but we have the chance of getting an adventurous story into the press. Sign me up. Hands are full. There we go. Good day, officer. Got away with it. Nice. We had no permit, and yet we still managed. Truly an adventure. Okay, where are we with typesetting? This says it's a politics story, but I don't think it actually is a politics story. We've already got all of the stories that we need. We've already got all of the stories that we need, and as long as we don't publish politics, we should be completely fine. Okay, that is absolutely fantastic news. We got another story. Dry states. Roll the presses. Oh, that was our hopeful story. I didn't realize that I didn't dispatch a reporter to that. Not necessarily a problem. Oh, it's gold. Breakthrough. It's a breakthrough. Let's wait until next week before we explore that one. Same with this one. I think that's it. I think that's all we're going to get. Let's fast forward. And I think that's everything that we're going to manage. Okay, let's see if we can try and squeeze everything possible into this story. Let's get that out of the way whilst we're composing our masterpiece here. Okay, what do we need? Ideally, we probably want to have this story at the top. I think this is going to drive the most. 1,400 bucks of revenue. Yeah, it's a silver. A silver is going to be giving us exactly what we need. A silver is most valuable. Anything that with society on the front page that will combo is going to give us some absolutely brilliant combinations. Oh, look at that. It's adventurous and it's also society. My giddy aunt, we are going to be selling so many flipping papers. That is amazing. What about on the second page? What about if we do a sports second page? We got 3 sports stories. Look at that. 4,000 bucks of revenue. I mean, that is just amazing. That is absolutely astounding. You know what I'm thinking? You know what I'm thinking. You know what I'm thinking. You can see it a mile away. I'm thinking, I can't do it. I was waiting to say, I think I want to get another flipping printing press to try and squeeze in as much stuff as I possibly can. At the end of the day, this is a pretty good paper. Let's freaking go with this. We're gonna satisfy the mafia as much as the mafia can actually be satisfied. We're gonna keep making money. I mean, we pretty much doubled our sales record. I never lost a game. I just ran out of time. What a great way of putting it. Look at that. Subscribers, we've got more. Loose sales, we've got more than ever. Holy cow. And a hidden agenda, but of course we got paid $500 from the Mafia as well. I can't believe we kind of swizzled them as well, because we reported initially on a politics story, but then we just didn't print the politics bit. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. We've never made so much money. And all it was one simple little paper. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Everybody's becoming more skilled. Oh, you love to see it. This is brilliant. Oh. What's this? Forest Hills Stadium. Oh, look at this. A sports clipboard. It's going to cost us 4 influence points. A medium plant. 4 more influence points. A gumball machine. I'm going to get a sports poster. Heck yeah. Look at that. That's what we need. And a sports bookcase? Oh, we're going to do the sports so well. Oh, there's going to be... Ooh, the mayor. The mayor of NYC. Heck yeah, look at that. Medium plant. I'll take the medium plant. Beautiful. And a hanging clock? Sign me up to a hanging clock as well. Gumball machine? Can't afford it, unfortunately. Okay, let's set to go here. The hidden agenda. What do the Mafia got? Word on the street is that the coppers got hold of some dossiers of our Irish rivals, a trove of secrets. Ooh, look at that. Complete tasks to earn reputation. We're getting there. So we need to print. We need to print alarming stories in order to satisfy the Mafia. We've got an Economist Critical. Okay. And we've set ourselves an objective of getting a crime and an alarming story. Well, actually, that ties in quite nicely. That ties in quite nicely with what the Mafia are asking for, which I kind of hate to say, but we're going to be doing their bidding for a little while. However, ladies and gents, we're going to be wrapping things up right about now. Holy cow, this was a very, very, very successful time that we had in this Newspaper Tycoon. This is honestly an amazing game. I cannot but recommend it enough. Definitely check it out when it comes out on the 13th of February. This game is just getting started. I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to play more. Holy cow. This is good. Thank you ever so much for watching, folks. My name, of course, has been Orbital Potato. I'll catch you next time. Bye.